Hello, loves. I hope that you are doing well. So, this is Lisa from the past speaking to you. And if you're seeing this video, then I am most likely in my bikini on a beach next to a lake, or, on the top of a cabana bed on a boat in the middle of the lake, or maybe paddleboarding, or in a giant inflatable tube, you know what I mean? Somewhere in beautiful British Columbia on vacation. However, because I love you, I pre-filmed some readings. So I hope that wherever you are, balmy Lisa from the present, her energy is finding you and adding a little bit of sunshine to your life. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to do a reading on the topic for someone carrying a lot more than can be seen. So we're just going to look at what you're holding that maybe others don't see, what impact that burden may be having on you, and maybe what you need that you don't feel safe to ask for, or how you can gently release or lay down something so that you don't get to a breaking point. So I'm just going to kind of hold space to kind of see you in this place where you feel a little burdened and heavy. And so that's what we're going to do today. There is a membership area for the channel now. It's just one tier and they get an extra reading every week. So if you're interested in that, in even more clear and direct messages, because it's a smaller group over there, and just being more closely involved in a really dope community of people, then you can check that out by clicking the join button. Should be on the top of my YouTube page there. And there's also a link to join in the info box down below if you're interested in checking that out, okay? All right, my loves, let's get into this reading. So let's start by looking at what you're holding, the emotional, energetic, or mental weight that might be invisible to others, but is currently deeply present and felt by you. Let's see. What are you holding? Wow. The Four of Cups, and then this card, Mermaids and Selkies, which says water. Well, it feels like this is very emotionally based. It could be, well, I mean, everything is energy. Emotional energy is still energy, but this feels very emotional in nature. For some of you, there's a connection that there's been a pretty strong disappointment surrounding, and you're kind of on the fence, or you're just feeling everything at once emotionally surrounding that. It's like you're feeling the parts that are still connected and alive and well and at play, like the emotions, the love, the feelings you still have for someone. But then there's also this sense of, it's like you're holding polarities at once here, which absolutely is, normal, not just possible, but normal, because humans are complex and weird, and we can feel a lot of things at once. We can love somebody and also feel hurt and disappointed by them, obviously, at the same time. So it almost feels like there's something there, but this doesn't have to be surrounding a relationship specifically. But I am feeling with that Four of Cups, it's kind of this energy of, it's weird with the Four of Cups. I always get this very strange sensation when I tune into that energy. And the best way I can explain it is it's kind of the energy of being like, dying of thirst and also feeling like you're drowning simultaneously. And it kind of is this energy of everything, feeling everything everywhere all at once, to the point that you almost get numb, or it's something that you don't know how to process emotionally, or you don't feel like you have the support to process in a healthy way emotionally, or even maybe to acknowledge or let out in some cases. That it kind of ends up turning into like ambivalence or numbness, or just this kind of generalized feeling like emotional rut. But water, this card actually talks about invoking wonder. It talks about the energies of femininity, beauty, adventure, and wonder in everyday life. Essentially the qualities that bring depth to our existence, right? Bring meaning to our existence. So it's kind of representing the alluring, mysterious, and like wondrous qualities in this life that do very much exist and that call to us and create longing for this kind of wonder, something beyond the everyday experience that can kind of just be monotonous or boring, right? So this card actually talks about being called to re-invoke or re-enchant your life with adventure and wonder in either one aspect of your life or all over. It can talk about feeling bored, tamed, disenchanted, or even like captured or held captive by some sort of circumstance in your life that is making you long for the unfamiliar, the mysterious, something that is yet to be discovered. It's like it's making you want to tune more into that enigmatic element or seek inspiration, maybe even from unexplored aspects of your own nature or personality. This is specifically a very strong energy of deep femininity, though, which can very much be about that alluring, mysterious, like unknown qualities that add depth. But it is enigmatic. It is not something that can be easily defined or pinned down. So it almost feels like there's this really deep part of you that might be deeply spiritual. It might be kind of full of like desire. It might be very attractive and attracting or magnetic in more of an emotional or spiritual kind of way, but a very deep way, a way that's not easily understood or defined. And I feel like there's this part of you where that's been stifled or stagnant. It's been like held inside, repressed almost, to the point of it, then you're feeling so much inside, but it's all being pushed in instead of let out or expressed or embodied. And so it's just kind of manifesting, it looks like, in the form of numbness, in the form of maybe emotional confusion or feeling stuck, stagnant, emotionally exhausted, maybe. The King of Cups, the Ten of Wands in reverse, and the Moon in reverse. Holy shit. You have a lot of feelings, huh? Yeah. The King of Cups, yeah, capable of holding the most emotion of any minor arcana card in the deck. The King and the Queen of Cups. So you could have strong Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancerian energy in your chart. You don't have to. There's really strong Piscean energy and Scorpionic energy specifically. This is telling me that you hold so much emotional and intuitive, like, yeah, deep, advanced, I want to say, feminine energy. Whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't really matter, or, you know, whatever. You could be anyone here. And it's just an archetype. So don't get hung up on the king or the queen kind of vibe here, or the feminine masculine. We all have those energies. It's wanting to be unveiled so badly. It wants to be seen. It wants to like break out, because the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's telling me you're reaching a breaking point here. There's not much longer, I don't feel, that you'll be able to hold this without someone seeing it, or without it spilling out in some sort of way. It's like there needs to be a release, not just a release of energy in general, but emotional release, authentic emotion, meaningful, intentional, emotional embodiment and expression is what this is saying. Because it's been hidden, the weight has been hidden underneath the moon. So it's like repressed to the point of even being maybe somewhat unconscious to you, or being pushed even into your shadow. But there's so much of it, and it's kind of showing me that this is at the core of your very nature. So it would probably feel quite uncomfortable and weird, like inauthentic almost, to not embody or express this element of yourself. But it just feels like there's been people around you that don't understand it, or that go out of their way maybe seemingly to misunderstand, to judge, or to belittle this element of you. Especially I feel like if you are masculine, you being in that feminine energy in a balanced way. So creative, maybe sensual, emotional, intuitive, spiritual, deeply feeling, sensitive, you know, all of those elements. It feels like there's just not people around you that can actually understand that or hold space for it. And so it's created this huge weight, as it feels like this energy has not gone away and won't go away, obviously, because it's like a natural part of being, but it's kind of just become more and more pressurized in its repression. And there's this element of just being so unsatisfied, unfulfilled, bored, and just like this energy will eventually make someone very, very cranky, right? Because it's like nothing changes if nothing changes. And here it feels like there is a part of you that wants to be expressed and it wants to be witnessed, because you are very aware of its presence. Like you're very aware of these depths. It's showing me that you are you're engaging with this part of yourself. Certain depths of this element of you could have even made themselves known to you recently as well. Like you could have had a bit of an awakening in this area, a bit of a emotional awakening, a spiritual awakening, or just more of this part of you, more of your emotions or your intuition was revealed to you, I feel like. But because you haven't been in a safe place or around people, again, it feels like that could actually support and hold that and honor that element of you without judging it or tearing it down, or even having like expectations of it is coming up there. That's been what has created this kind of like, I'm carrying it, I'm holding it, kind of like on the DL. Okay, let's look at the impact that this is having on you. Okay. Damn. Okay. Well, I'm getting, immediately I'm just getting like a defensiveness and a rigidness. It's so interesting because the Page of Swords is a curious, open-minded energy. It can actually be quite genius because it doesn't presume to know everything, right? And the smartest people know how little they know. That's what keeps their mind open. That's what makes them curious. That's what makes them want to learn new things, because they know how many things there are to learn. And this is the kind of person that never gets bored. They know that if you're bored, then you're boring, because there's no excuse in this life, in this existence, to ever be boring or to be bored. There's like a billion trillion things that you could learn or experience at any given moment, right? So the Page of Swords is this like insatiably curious, open-minded, communicative, like idea generating, genius, creative kind of energy, very open, very much focused on potential, possibility, kind of a dreamer, but also like likes to have some facts to back that up, right? But it's being weighed down by this stone, like this very immovable, vigilant, kind of crushingly rigid energy. So it's like there's this hardened part of you that is gatekeeping the expression of something. But there's also this part of you that's looking over here at this element, and it's like, ooh, I want to explore that. I want to express that. I want to maybe, I don't know, say something. There might be something you want to express to a specific person or in a specific community, or even through art or an idea that you'd like to put out there. with the Page of Swords, but then there's this like soul crushing, it's like sucking the life out of something energy. With that stone people, like it's like having turned to stone, not being able to expand or be mutable or learn new things or grow at all. I'm getting the image of someone whose feet are like in cement, and then the cement dries and then they just can't move. Even though there's these parts of them that are alive inside of them that are screaming for embodiment and expression, but then it's like there's this hardness that doesn't allow for any breath or growth to take place in those areas. So this is having a pretty large impact on you in terms of how it's affecting you in a burdensome way. It's mostly coming through as like limiting your mind, limiting with the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which experiences and opportunities you allow yourself to take or explore or even think are possible for you. So it's kind of like killing your ability to dream, to learn, to create, to be inspired and passionate. Anything else about that? I think that's pretty, yeah, it's pretty straight to the point there, the impact that that's having on you. It feels incredibly restrictive though, like very oppressive. And a lot of this is taking place in your mind. The devil is doubt. The devil is fear. That's all that the devil really stands for. And how that ends up, whatever our doubts and fears are, however we head fuck ourselves, right? That ends up oppressing and limiting us. Our fears and doubts end up limiting and controlling us and keeping us in a repressed state, essentially keeping us from living in a place of authenticity, love, openness, expression, faith, belief in ourselves, that kind of thing. For some of you, this is keeping you from, it's either integration with yourself with this Two of Cups in reverse or connection with someone that actually can see these parts of you or stimulates these elements of you, whatever that is. Okay, so what do you need that you haven't really felt safe to ask for? Like what kind of support, softness, or space has your soul been longing for here that you're not getting? Aw, stillness. The Eight of Wands and the Lake, stillness. Wow. It feels like there's a lot of energetic buildup. And the Eight of Wands talks about, it can talk a lot about communication, like expression of energy, like rapid expression of energy, or just energy moving quite quickly here. So it's either you taking action to move energy or to move in a specific direction that the energetic flow is kind of taking you in, or it can talk about, again, like expression. So it feels like you've just been looking for like a quiet, still, safe place to release some of this that you've been kind of holding and carrying, and it doesn't feel like you've had that. Can you tell me more? Some of you really want to talk to someone about this, but you feel insecure about it. You almost feel like if you talk to someone who maybe embodies this more fearlessly or unapologetically, I don't know, there's something there. I can't quite feel if you're afraid of judgment. What is that I'm feeling? There's a hesitancy to share this part of yourself with people that would genuinely understand, because they also embody and express the same type of energy. Let's say if you are more of a masculine, right? And this is very feminine energy. So that could be you feeling, for instance, like insecure about opening up emotionally and spiritually, or talking to feminine energies in your life about that, because maybe you're afraid that you will seem emasculate or like less masculine if you share that part of yourself, or that it will make you exposed, like vulnerable, but in a negative way. There's something there specifically. It's like the kind of support, softness, and space and honoring of this energy that you desire, you also fear. Okay. Anything else about this Eight of Wands? The Five of Wands and the Seven of Cups. Holy. The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, no kidding. I would also feel that way. This feels like being in someone's circus. And it's like, these aren't even my monkeys. Why am I having to sit here in this like loud ass environment with chaos spinning around me? For some of you, you are very sensitive and you are actually taking in a lot of energy that is not yours. So there needs to be, I feel like, if you want to clear that up a little bit and bring some like peace of mind, or just like less stimulation, then I feel there needs to be grounding here. So whether that is spending time in nature, whether that is just finding little pockets of stillness, whether that's meditating, doing some breath work to move the energy. But there's a lot of emotional confusion and internal tension or conflict. And it feels like this could also be around you as well. Like the people that you look to, you can't really find guidance in your immediate circle, because those who are in your environment or around you, they themselves don't really know how to embody or express this energy in a healthy way. So it comes out distorted. It presents or manifests as very distorted. And yeah, just confused, at odds with itself almost. So again, you could be surrounded by like, let's say, hyper masculine people maybe who like feel guilty or feel ashamed when they do feel emotional. So maybe that it just comes out at certain times when they're less guarded. But then they're immediately almost like defensive against their own feelings or their own intuition or something like that. And it doesn't obviously make you feel safe or capable necessarily to open up in that environment, because you fear that they will judge you the same way that they judge themselves, essentially. But it's because of a lack of understanding and a lack of integration of those energies in them as well. I see that you have like a much deeper understanding of these energies just innately. It's like, this is who you are. This is your heart. But you've been surrounded by people who are like more fearful than they are loving, or more like just like, show me the facts, and if I can't see it, then it doesn't exist. And it's like, that is such a lack-based, like scarcity, contractive, tiny little way of viewing the world, right? It's almost like you're crushed under other people's disappointment. Like other people have chosen this path that is void of depth and beauty and magic and like wonder and awe and emotion and, you know, spirituality and all of these things. Mystery and, you know. But yeah, you haven't felt safe asking for this space or this support. So what can you gently release or lay down now here? The King of Pentacles in reverse and Leprechaun's Earth. Wow. So there's a really heavy earth, like stubborn, rigid earth energy here. I feel like there's this insecurity or there's this idea that the King of Pentacles has to act or look, embody themselves or express a certain way. That's not true. The King of Pentacles is really just someone who they're rooted and grounded into their own being. They know themselves. It's kind of the hermit energy, right? They know themselves because they have witnessed and reflected on the choices that they've made, on the experiences they've had, and then they've taken wisdom from that so that they trust themselves moving forwards. They know what has worked, what hasn't worked. They can kind of run healthy risk assessment without these pervasive fears and doubts stopping them. It's someone who's in dominion over their own physical world and body. So they take care of themselves. They have structures built into their day-to-day life and their family and that kind of thing that support them specifically. It's not one size fits all again, right? It's like things that make them feel good in terms of their health, their wellness, and their overall sense of security and stability. So I feel like there's this like idea about how that has to look that needs to be released, or that it would be really helpful for you to release here. Because whatever it is, the idea of how that has to be, it's showing me it's not working for you. It's actually throwing you more off balance, and it's not allowing your roots, like your authentic roots of your soul and your being, to really get deep in a way that allows you to feel confident and grounded moving towards the things you really want. This card is actually about playfulness. So there's something about rigidity here and like soul crushing stuckness or inflexibility that wants to be released. It's like, get in touch with your mischievous side. Get in touch with this playful kind of energy. The Leprechaun card also talks, though, about having an attachment to wealth. And again, it's like your attachment to wealth might not be an obsession with physical, like money or finances or whatever, but it could be your attachment to that, again, having to look a certain way, or there only being one way to attain that. But in reality, there are a million ways to attain that, right? But this card talks about being tempted by material resources, specifically in the form of money or great opportunities. But it's kind of trickster energy, because when you really make that your whole focus, because it is so limiting, you might get those resources, but they're more likely to be short-lived or actually not stable, secure, and, sustainable. So this kind of tells you to look at it from a spiritual perspective, to cultivate detachment and equanimity in regards to material treasure specifically. So seeing monetary energy or physical energy or wealth as equal to emotional wealth and depth, spiritual wealth and depth, intellectual or curious or creative wealth, and then cultivate healthy detachment so that there isn't this like codependent kind of like attached pull that when you try to shift, or when you start considering maybe how you can embody or express yourself in a way that will actually get you out of this rut, excuse me, there's this attachment that almost pulls you back onto this course that you don't even really want to be on, or you don't really resonate with. And you don't resonate with it because you can feel that it just is not good for you. So there could be something that is actually quite physically, like it's physically making itself known to you. So you could be exhausted all the time. Your sleep could be super off. Your appetite might be off. You could be actually suffering some sort of illness. This could also come through as stress or tension in the body, like pain in the body in some way. It could also come through as a lack of focus or not being able to like you might be very intelligent, but you have trouble lately, like remembering things or really staying focused or applying yourself to things that normally you would be able to tune into very well and focus on and achieve. It's like things are just not working or flowing the way, even physically, even within your own body and surroundings, that they're meant to. And it's trying to show you what needs to be detached from here, because it's just not, like, all of these are coming through as signs that you're kind of moving in a direction that isn't actually suitable for you. It might be suitable to everyone who, like, let's say went before you in your family, or everyone in a particular like class or community that you're a part of. But there's something here about that not working for you. So tell me more about what can be gently released at this time. You're not meant to take the path of least resistance, and you're not meant to take the path that everyone else is on. Yeah, no. There is an opportunity that is for you, and you already feel this at your core. For many of you, this is something that's already actually been presented to you in some way, or it's in your awareness. But again, it's something that, like, look at this energy. Like, it's so light and bright. It's free, it's playful, but it's also opportunistic in a positive way though, right? Not attached to the results, not stressed out, not burdened, not weighed down, just going to follow what lights them on fire, going to follow what feels genuinely good to them. So I feel that there needs to be the cultivation of more of this energy, or the allowance of more of this energy, so that you can follow and indulge in more things that genuinely align with you here. And I feel like, you know, when you listen to your passion, your desire, and even when you are able to quiet your mind, like where your mind is naturally curiously drawn to, what does it naturally wonder about? What naturally kind of comes into your thoughts? What are like reoccurring things that you think about, or that you have desire towards, or that you feel pulled towards, or that make you feel emotionally, right? Pay attention to those things, as well as the things that make you feel more energized or supported physically as well, or that stabilize you in that way. Because I feel like those are those are actually really important signs that are showing you a path that would be better suited for you. But I hope that you're able to find a space where you can get past your fear of opening up and being judged enough, at least, to kind of just like release or express some element of this part of yourself, because it's beautiful. And it's a very like central part of who you are. It's a very developed and mature part of who you are, but I feel like no one is getting to see it. No one's getting to witness it. And you are not even getting to like flex this muscle, and it's kind of draining a really vital part of you. So I can see why this is feeling like a super heavy burden, and why it might be quite painful for you that nobody seems to be able to see that you're going through this. So I just want you to know that you're not alone. I've definitely experienced something like this a lot of my life. I know how difficult it is. But even just one little thing at a time, you can change your life. You can infuse it with the things that bring you peace and make life feel clear and beautiful and inspiring again. You can. You just have to trust that you know what those things are for you. And then don't lessen the importance of them. Don't sacrifice them to walk somebody else's path, or to overextend yourself to fill someone else's needs. Because these needs are very important. They're very important that you meet these, and don't lose this part of yourself, essentially, right? So that is what I have for you for today, my loves. I hope that this resonated for those of you that needed a little extra support. I'm sending you lots and lots of love. And yeah, I'll be talking to you again very soon, okay? Stay safe and well until then. Mwah. Bye, babes.